Patscast, the unofficial Your Giant Pats podcast. It's May 25th. It's episode 207. Chris here, Kevin there. How are we doing tonight, Kevin?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It was an interesting little development camp for the Pats, and got to see some of our draft picks this year. A couple of list players, some other signings we haven't seen for a bit. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Unfortunately, had to go into the rink with a nice weekend, but it is what it is. After a terrible long weekend, weather-wise, sitting in the rink. But
isn't that always the case?
I know, right? It's May long, right? The weather's always crap, or the odd it's either plus 30 or bad, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to go to the rink, though. It's always nice to go to the rink and watch some hockey. But yeah, like you said, see some of these new faces, some older faces, and yeah, it was a good weekend. So before we touch on that, I think we should maybe go back a bit. We haven't talked about the draft yet. We thought we'd wait till after this camp came out, and we'll do draft talk and camp talk. And I mean, we're gonna miss on the import draft, but I mean, that's not, that isn't as kind of important. It's obviously it's changed. There's three rounds now. See what the Pats do, if they make 3 picks or not, or
well, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, but
there's no point in wasting the picks.
No, and kind of see what happens there. But it's not like we're going to see these guys. Might not even see them this year. Who knows, right? So
yeah, with the imports, you never know.
So, but yeah, and you can trade picks now too. So I wonder if any of that's going to go on this year. I'm sure a team or two will make some trades. But yeah, so I don't know how long it's been since you can make trades. It's been a few years, but yeah,
it's been quite a while.
Yeah, reinstituted that rule. But yeah, so then going back, draft lottery. Obviously, the Pats won, and yeah, I think
woohoo!
Yeah.
A little bit of a shock, I think.
Yeah.
Except for the people that went to watch it live, and it wasn't live, and people fast forwarded to the end of the video, and people knew about it before everything happened.
Yeah, and I'm just watching it, not even on my phone, and then I go on my phone about quarter to whatever, with 15
minutes into it.
No, 45 minutes into it. And then I'm scrolling my phone. It's like Regina won the lottery. I was like, did I miss something? Like, I was kind of in and out, just listening to it, not really watching it. I'm like, I'm sure I didn't miss it. And yeah, sure enough, everybody's like, oh, you could just fast forward the video. It wasn't live.
Yeah, they uploaded the whole thing and didn't put it as a quote unquote live video. Yeah. So just people fast forwarded to the end. It's like, you guys spoiled it.
So, but yeah, anyways, so it was nice. Nice that the Pats were able to get lucky there. And then come draft day, obviously lots of interest in that, and obviously picking Schultz first. I mean, I don't think that was too much of a surprise at all. Obviously they said
really,
yeah. And obviously there was like the pre-show and all that leading up to the draft, and I was at work late. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm just watching the show. So I put it on my phone as I finished up work, and then I got a ride home from work. So I kind of like was watching it on my phone as I'm coming home, and I walk in the door, and it's like, oh, Kelowna trades the 3rd pick, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and not a big surprise.
Not unexpected, yeah.
No, and I'm like, yeah, Kelowna's, they got to move this pick, right? They got to get more assets because they need to build a team. Like their roster is not good right now, and then all of a sudden it's to Regina. What? Regina? Blew my socks off, literally. Like,
oh, I had no idea. Zero. It was just wild.
Yeah, so that was interesting, and then they picked Pugh. So obviously with Pat's not knowing where they're going to pick, 1, 2, or 3, you really have to lock into, I mean, you're watching these guys close anyways, right? Like, is Pugh better than Schultz?
Yeah.
Is Schultz better than Pugh? Or some of those defensemen that were really well regarded, and obviously, they really like Pugh too, and they're willing to pay that price to get him. And
Yeah.
and like Al says, it's like, okay, we traded a second this year, so they had two basically early second picks, so not a huge
Yeah.
loss there. They've got two firsts in 26, so you move one of those, and then
Yeah.
another first in 27, and I think they've got like 3 seconds that year. Don't quote
I
me on
think
that.
that's what it is. Yeah.
So
I think that's 3.
they've given up
Multiple seconds.
yeah, it's more than 2. It's for sure. It's like 3, maybe even 4 seconds. But so you lose a first in 27 as well. You don't have another one, but I mean, to get another high end player with Schultz, like, I'm not saying there's no point, but you'd rather have another player this year rather than next year, right? Like, get another player at Schultz's age.
Exactly.
You'll
Because
get
someone drafted in 26 or 27 are even
almost
further away than
exactly
Schultz and these guys. So
yeah. So I think it's a great idea if they're that high on him. That's it's a pretty hefty price.
swing to the fences. Swing for
But
the
like Al
fences, right?
said, everything's on the table, and that's why they built all that draft capital, is so they could spend it,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And then you kind of just overall at the draft, like, they only made 7 picks.
7.
So like
Yeah.
they didn't pick a ton of guys, right? Because you've
Didn't
got
have
all
the room. There's lots of players.
and they're all high picks, like 3 firsts and 2 seconds. Like, there's no point in picking 8, 9, 10 round guys. Like, you don't need them per se. You've got enough guys on the list that are high quality, and so there's no point in bringing in too many guys, and they're not going to fit on your protected list anyways, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, then I mean, you look at the rest of their draft. You got Pugh at 3, Henry at 23, and Nicolay at 27. And then I heard an interview with Al saying they got those 4 guys were in their personal, or the team's top 12 players. Like, every team makes their own list from 1 to whatever.
Yeah.
And those 4 guys were in the top 12 of their list. So he was pretty excited about that. He said they were going to were kind of leaning D at 23, but when Henry was still there, they couldn't pass on him. And then to get Nicolay at 27, and then Charlie Leonard at 46, another D man there. So you got 3 forwards and 2 D in your first 5 picks there, right? And then you get Malin Wiley, and then Dawson Sheehan, a goalie, in the 6th round to kind of round that out. What are your kind of thoughts there?
When that trade came down for number 3, I was flabbergasted that the Pats got that pick.
Yeah.
Getting Schultz and Pugh, like they're their top 2 guys, the top 2 forwards, according to a lot of people in the draft, is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them can play half a season because of the rule change. So they can both play 34 games, so they can fiddle around trying to get them all in both of them lineup as much as possible. It'll be an interesting year with those 2 guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, with Maddox being here, he mentioned at the draft that they didn't want to pursue exceptional status. Didn't want to be compared to Bedard and all that hoopla that goes around with it, which is fair. That's totally, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. And like they said, it's kind of a nice hybrid. You get 34 games, and then you can stay with AAA. Then my kind of thinking is like, oh man, he might have more work. try to juggle 2 teams, right? Like, how often is he practicing with the Pats? How often is he with the Patsies? And obviously their schedules are similar, a lot of weekend heavy. Obviously the Pats will play more weekday games. So, how often does he miss a Patsies game for a Pats game, or you know what I mean? Like,
He probably won't miss too many Pat C's games. That'll be his priority because that's his team, I'm assuming.
Yeah, right. So
don't quote me on that, but I'm assuming that'll be his team. So
yeah. So I mean, it's up to the adults in the room to, like, obviously he's not going to say no to anything, right? Oh,
exactly.
You want to practice with the Pats? Okay, yeah, I'm in, right? So it's up to the adults in the room to, like, you really monitor, really juggle that for him and not burn him out, right? You don't want to burn the kid out, right? So
yeah.
So that was my only kind of thought now, like, ooh, this might be more work than just being exceptional status and playing and focusing with one team all the time, right? So
Yeah.
be interesting. And then then there's all everybody's like, oh, so when's Pew moving to Regina? Like, when's he coming to play with the Pat C's and move to Regina and locate here? And with him being, wherever he goes to play, like, doesn't have to be Regina. He could go to whatever, some
wherever
academy out here somewhere. But if he does stay in BC, obviously he's not going to play a ton of games with the Pats, I wouldn't think. But
who knows?
But who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows what they got planned, because he can play 34.
Exactly,
so maybe
yeah.
they'll play him as many as possible. Maybe they'll play him a handful. Like, maybe he'll end up near Regina. Like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
We don't know. There's a bunch of stuff going on, chit-chatting about that, trying to figure out where he's playing, because he wasn't in under Hockey Canada this year. So
yeah,
I think Hockey Regina, he had to be here by July 31st or July 1st.
So I think I heard July 1st. They've got to, if you move anywhere, you got to declare by July 1st. Kind of.
Okay, so he's got a couple months to figure that out. If that's true, he's going to come here, which we don't know because no one's said. So that'd be pretty wild though, to have Schultz and Pugh both play for the Pat C's, if it was to happen.
Yeah, that would be. But yeah, so I think it's obviously people are like, oh, Regina won the draft and stuff like that, and it's nice. It's just nice to see the Pats making some moves and the talent that they brought in, and you look at it this weekend. There's some good talent there, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
You get last year's draft, this year's draft. And you had Tabashniuk there, older guy, obviously, but obviously he hasn't been with the team that long. Obviously, getting traded at the trade deadline. So,
and the two U.S. priority draft players.
Yes.
From this year,
and then
Henry Buttweiler and Tyler Coons, they were there.
Yeah, and then the list guys, Zimmerman and Zaporzan was last year, right?
Yeah.
Draft last year, yeah. So I know Al mentioned it, and we've mentioned it too. They're pretty high on Zimmerman, and he looked pretty good at camp, didn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the better guys for much of what we saw. We didn't see the first day, so we can't really say much about that. But from what we saw from Saturday, he was pretty talented.
And I think Saturday or Friday might have been a little more drill based, whereas Saturday they kind of did some drills and were doing some scrimmages. So
interesting scrimmages. 4-on-4, because there's only 5D between the two teams.
Yeah, they
four for the morning skate.
Yeah, they did some 4-on-4. They did play some 5-on-5, did some power play stuff, and it was just kind of just different situations. And what about some of the guys that stood out for you other than Zimmerman?
Oh, Zaporzan. He might have been the smallest kid out there. He's not that small. Like, he's not like there's been some kids from years past where they were like 5'2", 5'3" coming into camp, but he was 5'6", 5'7". He didn't look that small when you interviewed him. Didn't seem that small.
But you look
at man, that kid can fly and he can shoot. I love it.
Yeah. I think we both agree that he was kind of the top guy that stood out at this camp. But you look at you look at the camp sheet, and like there's a lot of size too. Like, yeah, he was 5'6" or 5'7" or whatever he was, but there's a lot of guys that are close to 6 foot or over. Like,
yeah, pretty much everybody is like 5'10" or taller.
Yeah.
Other than Zaporzan and
another one.
Hunter Wilm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody else is like 5'10" or taller.
Yeah.
So around 5'10" or taller, and like 165. It's got a couple pretty heavy kids, which is awesome. Like Tabby is 199 in goal. It's a pretty big goalie.
He's a little bit older than these other guys too. So,
but still 199. That's like Drew Sim size.
Yeah. We've had a lot slighter goalies, like keeper. Paddock was even pretty slight when he was playing here.
He's still really slight. He's a tall, skinny guy.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said,
But yeah, other than Zaporzan, Rollason, he
Shea
looked pretty good.
Rollason, yeah,
Yeah, he looked pretty good for a little bit.
a couple guys on
Sh-
D.
yeah, what's his name? Charlie Leonard for the second scrimmage. He looked pretty good.
Yeah,
He missed the first one because of whatever. I don't know if he was hurt or got
yeah,
nicked or whatever, but he looked pretty good. He's got some size too.
yeah. Like
Like
seemed like
almost
all the
200
D men
pounds
had
already.
size. Yeah,
He's almost 200 pounds at 15 or
yeah,
14, 15. So it's
that's
good.
wild.
I'm happy. I'm happy to not see a bunch of little mini guys out there, and they all looked competitive with each other. There was nobody that looked behind. Everybody looked like
Yeah,
they could play. So
yeah,
that was my biggest takeaway.
yeah. You look at again, you look at the camp sheet, and everybody's a top 5 draft, round draft pick. There's a couple other lower guys, but for the most part, like first round US or first round Bantam draft, like they're all high end picks. Like we hadn't seen in a while, right? Obviously, a few years ago, we didn't have any first, second, third round picks,
Yeah.
and camp is full of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 list guys, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you said, very competitive. Skill was very nice to see. And yeah, Zaporzan, we've got some interviews with these guys we're going to throw in here, but Zaporzan, he knows about the WHL. His dad's from Thunder Bay. He knows Braxton Whitehead because he's from Alaska. So, and he's pumped to possibly play here. Like, I mean, if they put a contract in front of him, he'd be signing it instantly, I think.
I'm pretty sure he would. Yeah. He seemed pretty pumped.
Yeah. So, and then yeah, I guess we kind of skipped over the U.S. draft, but again, they had the 12th overall pick. I think when we talked to Al at the end of the year, I think he was expecting like a top 5 pick, top 3 pick.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
But they went full like lottery for the non-playoff teams and the first 8 out of the playoffs. So they all went into a lottery, and I don't know, Brandon got first overall, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And then the Pats picked 12th, which is what it is. And then they picked up that was Tyler Coons, and then the other one was Henry Buttweiler. Oh, it's 12th.
Yeah, Henry
Coons,
Butler went 12.
Yeah, and then
Yeah. Buttweiler
Coons
went 12.
36th. Yeah.
Buttweiler had some pretty good point totals. He split his season. He had in 77 games, he had 147 points, 79 goals. So
Yeah.
pretty good.
And then yeah, Coons, he's from Grand Forks, so not too far away. Same with Zaporzan. He was from, I can't remember offhand, but he was in like Montana as well. But yeah, so it's nice to see, like I said, there's talent coming in, make these picks, and
Zaporzan was playing at Shattuck's.
He was playing at Shattuck's, yeah, but he's like from Montana,
Alaska.
so it's kind of close. Oh, was that? Oh, who was from Who did we talk to? Was from Montana? I don't know. I can't remember now. There's a whole bunch of interviews.
Zimmerman's from Fargo, North Dakota.
Zimmerman's from Fargo. There we go. That's the one.
Yeah.
I got him and Zimmerman and Zaporzan. I got those two mixed up. Like I said, we interviewed all these guys too, so it's kind of blended in. But yeah, anything else you want to touch on?
Penticton, it has a team.
Right. Yeah, and then that draft happened obviously before the prospects draft, not the Bantam draft, but the prospect draft, and obviously they had 2 different scenarios of how many players you can pick or protect, and then you can protect like it was like 17 players, and so you knew you weren't going to lose anybody kind of significance, but for the Pats to lose a guy off the list that probably isn't going to play here anymore.
A non-roster Corbin Allman.
Yeah,
I was shocked when I saw that they lost Allman. Like I was expecting to lose a roster player. I don't know who, but I was expecting to lose a roster player.
They might have lost somebody down the depth chart, which Yeah, okay, you lose a roster player, that sucks, but it's not going to be a top 6 forward or a top 4
Yeah.
D, right? Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, I was a little surprised that he was still on the list. Like, I mean, there's multiple lists and all this, but I think with him being, his age, he's turning 18 this year, so
And he has played in the Western League, and he
yes,
has played in BC, so
yeah,
they probably are familiar with him.
So he's got some experience there, but like I don't think he's coming back to the Pats. So it's like they lost.
Definitely wasn't
nothing.
coming back to the Pats. Like
so that was kind of a win right there. A win, like
yeah, a shock. It was 100% shock. Like I was expecting him to lose. I don't know who off the roster, but I was expecting a roster player, not someone that really wasn't part of the team anymore.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's kind of another win right there for the team there. So, and then you're kind of looking at their roster. They took some gambles trying to get Brady Burney maybe not to go to school. They made some trades. Obviously, the Pats made a couple trades with them so they could make some more picks in this year's prospects draft. Like, I don't know how many guys they picked in the prospects draft this year, but they made a lot.
I think it was like 15 or 16 players. Like their list is huge.
Yeah. Whereas the Pats only made.
Yeah, the Pats made seven picks, but they traded some of their picks, which.
Yeah, they made 16 picks.
16 picks. Okay, I thought it was 15, but that's quite a few.
They went right around 15.
Yeah, so, they're right down to the end.
Yeah. But yeah, they got to build their list, right? So they have to build up their talent pool and go from there. So.
At the prospects draft, the Pats did make some more trades. They traded their 6th for a 2028 6th with Lethbridge, and then they traded the 141st pick to Penticton for a 2027 7th rounder, and then they traded their 144th, 164th this year to Penticton as well for a 6th round in 26. So. Yeah, they made quite a few more trades just to get rid of the picks instead of passing on everything.
Yeah, and obviously they were Penticton's obviously interested in picking more players up this year. They don't want to wait until next year. They need more guys now. So
I want to pick up a little higher end than picking whatever 11th and 12th rounders and stuff.
Yeah, and obviously the Pats weren't going to make those picks, so they move them and get some stuff back. And obviously there's Lethbridge wanted a guy that the Pats spot was coming up, and they made a deal there. Because I know Lethbridge made a pick with that pick that they traded, obviously. So, but it's just nice to see that the Pats are bringing in talent now. They don't have to. They don't have to go to the 15th round to bring in guys, right? So,
exactly, it's nice. Yeah. Nice to see, like you said, looking at the roster, the prospects roster, like mostly players that are 5th round or better, other than Ryder Dunn and Bassoon from the previous draft, but they're both pretty talented.
Yeah, like Dunn.
Like Ryder Dunn Ryder Dunn's a big dude. Like he's 210 pounds already, and he's only 16. Like he's got some size.
He may not be the most talented guy, but I mean, you can't have 6 talented defensemen. It just doesn't work that way, right? You can't have 6.
He's got some size.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the if he was to make the Pats this year, I don't know if he is. He hasn't signed or anything, but man, he'd probably be one of the heaviest guys they've got.
Yeah.
One of the bigger guys, which is awesome. Need some size.
But yeah, see how Penticton does. That'll be interesting to see how they do this year. I mean, they've been a great franchise in Junior A, but it's a different animal, the WHL. So. We'll see.
Totally different.
Yeah. Anything else you got? I don't have much else.
No, just looking forward to seeing what happens in this off season, because the CHL import draft is coming up, and they got the 3 picks to use there. They'll have a high pick. So hopefully whatever the high pick ends up being, hopefully they show up. And who knows about what's Nestrasil's status is from last year. So it's going to be an interesting off season still. Lots of stuff to work on, I think. Lots of tinkering to go on.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, there's not a ton of room on this roster either, right? So
Exactly.
guys will be some of these, guys at the camp, the older ones obviously gonna be pushing for jobs, right? Like they gotta impress if they want to make this team, because there isn't a ton of open spots. Maybe they make themselves a spot by impressing at main camp here in the fall, but they got to push somebody out, right? So
exactly. It's going to be interesting.
But that's good though, because like skill, you can only get better with better talent, right? And
exactly.
And so if somebody, on the fringe loses a spot to one of these younger guys that is better, that's not a bad thing for the team, right? It sucks.
Definitely.
The guy loses a spot, but I mean, that's hockey. That's sports. That's a competitive sport, right? So
yeah, they gotta play for their spots now for sure.
Yeah. So
nothing. I don't think anything is really guaranteed.
No.
Other than some obviouses, but
yeah. But yeah, I guess move on to these interviews if you got nothing else for this show.
That's it. I think I'm good.
Yeah, so I don't know when we'll be back. Probably closer to the start of the season. I don't think we'll do much else during this summer. I don't think, but you never know.
You never know.
But yeah, so these interviews. So we got the first four are Schultz, then Pugh, then Henry, then Tabashniuk. So we're going to play those four. And then the next ones are Dunn, Rollason, Zimmerman, Sejna, Zaporzan, Leonard, and Nicolay. And Dante intros all those ones, because we did those ones separately. Those first four were done with the main media on Friday morning. We weren't there on Friday. Obviously, Friday morning we're working. So... But then the media didn't show up for the rest of the weekend. They were only there in the morning. So,
surprise.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to timestamp them all. So if you want to skip over a couple, but that's the list of all the players interviewed. There's 11 interviews there, about 20 minutes total. So not too crazy long. I mean, they're young. They don't have super long answers, but they weren't bad though either.
See, but how's it finally feel to wear a Pat's WHL jersey?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Coming to camp and meeting all these new players, and they're put on the same jersey as me. It's obviously real special.
Did you have any time to recover? It's pretty much been go for you this season.
Yeah, right after the TELUS Cup, I kind of took a couple days off and just reflected on the year, and kind of got back at it a couple days later, and up to this point I feel good.
How cool is it now to get a chance to go on the ice with Liam Pugh, Logan Henry, all these guys who are going to be your teammates for the next few seasons?
Yeah, just watching them get drafted. Just thinking of maybe playing with them a couple years down the road. It's obviously pretty cool, and I'm just really looking forward to meeting them further.
How was the first skate today?
Good, real fun. It's really hot in this rink. As you can see, I'm sweating pretty much. But yeah, it was a great skate. We had some fitness testing earlier this morning, and we got another skate later tonight. So yeah.
I feel like it was more compete than practice in a sense, where everybody's sort of trying to make an impression, right, versus building chemistry and whatnot on practice. What was the compete level like out there for you guys?
Yeah, obviously everyone's trying to make a difference out there and get themselves noticed, and that's real cool to come out to these skates and everyone's working their bag off. It's something you want to be a part of.
When you probably knew a few of these guys. When you all get on the ice together, is there any chemistry? Do you sense any of that, or is it all just, hey, who are you? And then you maybe saw them at the fitness testing before.
Yeah,
is there any of that already?
Yeah, we met, and I kind of think some of the players just had a big click, and earlier this morning we had some fitness testing, and I thought we really bonded over that. And coming out here, obviously, as soon as you step on that ice, all the nerves leave, and great practice today.
Liam, how's it feel to finally be in Regina and get this thing going?
Yeah, it feels amazing to be with all the boys on the ice. You got a great group of guys, and I couldn't be more excited.
What do you guys work on in this first skate out there? Like building chemistry, just trying to get back to it? Because you guys have just played a bunch of hockey recently.
Yeah, I think we're just getting some touches and getting the feel for each other, and then obviously tomorrow we'll probably do some more drills and stuff, and yeah.
How much do you want to make an impression when you come to a camp like this? This is sort of maybe the first time you're getting to wear a Pats uniform, obviously, but to be in front of the team, the whole hockey ops sense, how much do you want to make an impression?
Yeah, obviously you want to make a good impression off the start, whether that's on the ice or off the ice. But I mean, I think I just come in here, it's just another skate, just play my game and that kind of style.
Is it a high compete? How would you describe that?
Yeah. All the guys out on the ice are good now. It's the level that it is now in the WHL. So there's no average guy, and you got to compete for every puck battle and score and goal scored.
We talked about it on draft night. You obviously know Maddox a little bit through your agency. Is there anybody else on this team that you were familiar with?
Yeah, I know Logan Henry. I know Mathis Paul and Cohen Hanby, and yeah.
A few guys.
Yeah.
That's good.
So Maddox better than last time you saw him?
Oh yeah, he's an amazing player. He's fun to watch.
What do you think he's improved at?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously an unreal skater. I mean, he can kind of play the game in all aspects, and a coach can trust him in every situation.
Do you think in the future, do you guys talk about that, playing on a line together, something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely something we've thrown out there and chuckled about. So yeah.
You've been in Regina for what, 2 days? Fans aren't hyped. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously really exciting knowing the fans are excited about all of us being here, and I'm super excited to be a Pat, and I'm excited to get things going.
You know, everything's been really cool. The staff's been nice. The players, meeting everyone, it's super cool, and it's really fun down here.
What about the excitement of this team when you think about the players they've acquired, including yourself? When you guys look around, do you start comparing and thinking about the future?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a special couple years in the future, and I'm really excited with the group of guys we drafted and that we previously had. So.
Do you know quite a few of these guys?
Yeah, I just met Maddox this weekend. I knew Liam a bit, and I knew Mathis Paul and Cohen Handy.
Do you, Liam and Maddox, have you talked about a power play line with the three of you in a couple of years here?
Yeah, we've talked about it a bit, but not too much.
What do you do out there on this day one of spring camp? What's the goal for you as players?
Honestly, just, you know, working my hardest out there, doing everything right, trying to limit the mistakes I make, and, you know, just giving it my all.
For people who might know, what's kind of some of your strengths as a hockey player?
I think my physicality is one of my biggest strengths, my speed and my skating. I think those are my biggest strengths.
You and Maddox are some good skaters then out there.
Yeah, we are.
You think it's going to be your job to maybe stick up for those two guys? I mean,
yeah,
for 116 penalty minutes last year.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to be one of my roles.
So are you kind of a power forward type player?
Yeah, I like to identify myself as a power forward.
So how were you able to score 32 goals in 31 games this past year?
You know, I got some of the greasy ones and some on the power play. So those are and off the rush. Those are mostly my goals.
What NHL player do you kind of model your game?
Definitely Brady Tkachuk. I love the way he hits too. So.
What did you think when they traded for you?
Yeah, I was super happy. So excited to be at home. Yeah, I'm just.
You know your surroundings here. You know your angles. You know the lights. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
What level was it like today?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of feeling out today, but it was still a good pace. I mean, everyone's here to compete, right? They want to show what they're capable of, and I'm here to do the same. So, yeah, it was a good pace today, I thought.
Do you know many of these guys? You know the local guys. You know Maddox. Right?
No, I don't know many of these guys. This weekend's good because I'm getting to know a lot of them. So yeah.
We talked to Maddox about the whirlwind he had. You also had quite the whirlwind being on that Pack Canadians team. What's just this whole thing been like for you, going Telus Cup and now to here?
Yeah, it was so special. We had such an unforgettable season, and just that group of guys was awesome. And obviously, individual success comes from team success. That's what I believe in, and you know that's a big reason why I'm here today is because of the success we had on the Pack Canadians this year.
What's it like to come into this team? You're an older guy, sure, but like a lot of excitement around this team based on Maddox, Liam, and these guys they've drafted.
Yeah, they're great players. I mean, they should be excited. You know, they're so fun to watch, and they keep me on my toes in the net. That's for sure.
What's it like facing those two shots?
They got good shots. Yeah, really good shots.
Chatting with Pat's prospect defenseman Ryder Dunn after completing day one of on-ice sessions here at Pat's 2025 Spring Development Camp. Ryder, this is your second time coming here to Regina. Do you feel a little bit more comfortable this time around?
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable. I know a lot more of the boys, so I like the coaches, and I know the coaches a bit more, so yeah.
How did you improve over the course of the season? From what I understand, talking to the Pat's staff, they were pretty impressed with your growth and development.
Yeah, I was in the gym every day. I worked hard, and I want to be on the team, so yeah.
Alan Miller last night at the banquet was talking about so many different alumni, Jordan Eberle, Riker Evans, obviously playing for the Seattle Kraken, being late WHL draft picks to the Regina Pats. You were picked in the 7th round, and you've come obviously a long way. Tell us about your mentality, obviously getting picked by Regina, but you know, showing everybody how good you are.
Yeah, I didn't get picked where I want to be picked, so I just came in and worked my ass off so I can try to make the team here soon.
Well, Ryder, why don't you tell me a little bit about your work ethic? Where does that come from? What drives you every day?
I just want to get better every day. I just want to be the best I can be, and just, yeah.
For you, coming here to Regina, what do you think sets the Regina Pats organization apart from some other teams?
It's just in a small town. It's just out of like the city type thing, so it's pretty cool. It's in a small town, so yeah.
Obviously meeting some new guys, Maddox Schultz, Liam Pugh, Logan Henry. You might have already known Pugh and Henry being from BC. Obviously you're from Richmond, and Pugh's from Langley. But what's it like to meet some new people and see some familiar faces as well at camp?
Yeah, they're nice kids. I like them a lot. They're good boys to have around, and they'll be here shortly, hopefully.
All right, lastly, how excited are you for the future of this Pats organization?
I'm super excited. I want to get going with them, and hopefully I can be here shortly with them.
Joined with Pats prospect Shea Rollason after completing day one of the on-ice sessions here at the 2025 Pats Spring Development Camp. And Shea, yesterday was obviously a pretty cool day with the orientation, seeing the Pats dressing room, the facility. But what was it like to get on the ice today?
It was super nice to kind of get my legs under me. I mean, yesterday was a lot of fun and cool to see all the facilities and such. But it's kind of nice to get my feet under me and skate with some of the boys. So meet the coaches. So yeah, it was really good.
For fans that don't know a lot about you, maybe just tell us about your journey and your path through hockey. Obviously, we're listed by the Everett Silvertips, I believe, last summer, acquired the summer before, acquired by the Regina Pats in the Zachary Shantz deal back on January the 9th, 2025. You're now here in Regina. Tell us about that trade deadline. What was that like for you?
I kind of knew that there was a chance of me going somewhere with Everett because I knew they were kind of buyers at the trade deadline. I was just one night I kind of got a call. I had no idea that it was going to be, to Regina or that I was going to get traded. And then Everett GM called me, Mike Frazier, and he just said, we've sent you to the Regina Pats. And that was that. And I was super excited. I've heard nothing but great things about the organization. So.
Well, from talking to Pat's associate coach Ryan Smith, he talked a little bit about skating with you in the summer, etc. Tell us about your relationship with him.
Yeah, I've always kind of grown up skating with him. He hosts a 3-on-3 tournament over the summer for a lot of good players in Winnipeg, so I've always enjoyed doing those. And yeah, I've known Coach Smith for a while, so I was really happy to find out that I went to Regina where he was coaching as well.
You're your team's top scorer this past year, playing for the Winnipeg Bruins in Manitoba. Just tell us about this past season and what you thought about your year.
I had a good year individually. I mean, I think I had a really good coach in Larry Wu. He kind of taught me a lot of things that will kind of translate to this, the next level, wherever it be. So I really enjoyed my year, and then I had a good year individually as well. So it was a good.
Joined with Pats prospect Zach Zimmerman after completing day one of on-ice sessions here at Pats 2025 Spring Development Camp. Zach, you've come a long way to the prairies here to the Queen City in Regina from Minnesota, of course. Played high school hockey this past year, won a high school hockey championship. What's the last, 5 or 6 months been like for you being listed by the Pats and invited to their camp?
It's been awesome. I've heard nothing but great things about the Pats organization. I was just happy to get up here and compete.
What's the one thing that you've kind of taken away so far through the first 2 days?
Just like the development, the coaches, and how good everyone is, and yeah, it's just awesome.
Obviously, maybe a little bit of a different culture in terms of coming over from the U.S. To Regina, but this is geographically one of the more closer WHL teams to your home state. Does that help in terms of, your decision to come here and attend this camp?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was still a decent, a 7-hour drive, but yeah, it's not like a 4-hour flight to, I don't even know where, the other side of Canada. So yeah, it obviously helped.
Have you ever experienced Canada before? Is this your first time here?
Been to a Jets game, that's about it.
Well, that's pretty close, right?
3 hours, not bad.
Tell us a little bit about your game. Outstanding numbers this past year at Moorhead High School. Describe you yourself as a player.
I think I'm a very good playmaker, a goal scorer. I can do either. I can set guys up, and I can just come in clutch when you need me, and then I could.
Obviously, with the rule change, it's a big thing for American players like yourself and like some of the other Americans that have come here to camp. What excites you the most about potentially playing in the WHL and potentially taking this path?
It's really exciting just to hear about how good the WHL is and the opportunities I can get. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Speaking with Pat's prospect Owen Sejna after finishing off a 2-day on-ice spring development camp. This was your first spring development camp, your first taste with the Regina Pats, which in fact at main camp, in which you were invited as a free agent, then listed, and then signed by the Regina Pats. What's the last, I guess, year been like for you in terms of getting the opportunity in the WHL?
Yeah, it's been really great to get noticed by the Regina Pats, come to main camp, and then since that, had the season, and then got to spring camp. It's been really fun. Met a lot of new prospects, some of the new draftees, and it's been really fun.
What are some of the things that you've taken away so far?
We're learning every day. It's a lot of stuff on ice, a lot of stuff off ice, preparing for the ice session, cooling down after the ice session, rehabbing, and a lot of stuff on the ice, shooting the puck, picking up your head and all that stuff.
Well, the one thing that I've taken away from your path, and it's a very cool path, is that you're another story of somebody who comes in undrafted and has something to prove. Have you gone about your hockey career with maybe a little bit of a chip on your shoulder and the opportunity that you've gotten?
Yeah, I've never really played at the highest level. I've always had to work myself through, getting the recognition. So after I didn't get drafted, it's just another thing to keep on working and try to prove myself at main camp.
One thing I noticed is that your skating is obviously at a pretty high level, and maybe your conditioning as well. You won the beep test going head-to-head with Maddox Schultz a couple of days ago. Just tell us about what's prepared you for those types of things on and off the ice.
Yeah, my dad's always pushed me hard. He's usually been a pretty good skater, so he's taught me everything he knows, and obviously he's hard. He wants me to be in the best shape possible, so lots of conditioning and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to beat Maddox in the beep test and keep on working.
With your dad's experience, how valuable is that for yourself?
Yeah, it's so valuable. Sometimes I take it for granted, but it's one of the best things I could have asked for. With all the knowledge he has and all the advice he can give me on what I can do, and he's always there to support me, and he's always trying to help.
Going back to main camp last year, what did you take away from that camp that you applied to in your season this past season?
It was a really big confidence booster to go to something that I've never done before and kind of do well, prove myself. It took a lot of confidence into my next season.
What are some of the things that you're looking to work on in your game, and what do you think you did well this weekend?
I thought I did well with my plays and stuff, but obviously seeing Maddox and Liam Pugh with their shot, I definitely need to work on my shot.
And what are some of your strengths as a player? Maybe tell us or tell fans a little bit about yourself and your game.
Yeah, I would say I'm a good skater. I try to make plays all the time. I would say I'm a playmaker. And yeah, I try to play a 200-foot game and help in all ways I can.
Joined with Camden Zaporzan after completing his final skate here at Pat's 2025 Spring Development Camp. Camden, 2 goals for Team Blue in the final skate. How did you feel out there?
Felt good. Shooting the puck good and skating good. Just enjoying the camp with the boys. I love this camp, so yeah.
It looked like you and Liam Pugh had quite a bit of chemistry on the ice. What was it like to kind of buzz around with him?
Yeah, first time meeting him, first time skating with him, but we connected off ice, and he's a really great guy, fun to play with, and I love playing with him, so yeah, it was fun to play with him.
A lot of high-level players at this camp, a lot of competition. It seems like you were one of the harder workers on the ice, and that's what I've heard a little bit about your game. What was it like to go toe-to-toe with everybody and I guess kind of make some friendships and meet some new people?
Yeah, no, I love competing. I love playing hard. I love playing hard on the boys, and it was great to play against hard players. I feel like I play better against good players, so yeah.
As a smaller player, and of course the Pats have seen small players not only come through here, but come through the Western Hockey League. I look at Logan Stankoven, who's a 5'8" forward playing in Carolina, former Kamloops Blazers captain, and most recently Ty Spencer, a 5'7" forward, had success in the WHL with both the Pats and some other teams as well. How do you have success? You had pretty good numbers at Shattuck St. Mary's, so as a 5'6" forward, how do you find the net and find goals?
Yeah, no, I just play as hard as I can. I just try to use my speed, try to use my skills, like my shot. I try to use all the stuff to my advantage. Yeah, I just try to go as hard as I can and just try to bury the puck.
Coming up to Canada from the States there, what have you taken away from this camp?
Yeah, no, this is my second year at the camp. I feel a lot more comfortable this year, and it's fun to play with a bunch of Canadian boys and also some U.S. boys. I've been drafted here and play here, so yeah, no, it's fun to play in Canada. I'm half Canadian, so it's good to be back, and yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were half Canadian.
Yeah, my dad's from Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Really?
Yes.
And you're born and raised in Alaska,
yeah,
correct?
born and raised in Alaska. I've lived there my whole life, so.
Did you ever know Braxton Whitehead before?
Yes, I do. Braxton and me are buddies, and he's a great guy. I love Braxton, so yeah.
A lot of players coming out of Shattuck St. Mary's, obviously Sidney Crosby being one of the bigger names. I think Jonathan Taze attended there as well. Go the NCAA route. Now the WHL has the option for players to play NCAA Division I hockey after their career is over. How much does that help you in terms of your career path?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. I think it's a great path, and I think it could help a lot of U.S. players to get options in the WHL. And I like this league, so I'd love to play here one day.
Speaking with Pat's prospect, Charlie Leonard. Charlie, it's been, I guess, a day and a bit of Pat's spring camp, Thursday orientation, reception. Yesterday we're on ice for the first time. What's it been like here to get started with the Regina Pats, and what's it been like just being around the organization so far?
Yeah, it's great. I honestly just couldn't ask for better. I think it's a great organization. I think best place to be for me, and super excited to be a part of this organization.
How do you think day one went for you in terms of the skates that you had on ice?
Yeah, I think it was great. I came in, didn't know what to expect. I think it was good, great practices. All the guys are great, yeah.
Did you feel that you benefited a little bit from skating with a former NHL defenseman in Keith Ollie who works with the D?
Yeah, I think he has tons of knowledge, and it's a lot of stuff that I haven't heard before, so I think it's just good putting in the toolbox.
You're from Alberta, but played at Delta Hockey Academy this past season. What was that like for you, moving across to a different province, and how would you describe your season?
Yeah, I think it was great. We had a really good season, a bunch of good guys. So I mean, it was just good to get out of the house and see what it was like to bill it.
From what I understand and from what I've been told, you have a little bit of bite to your game. You play with some snarls, some toughness. How would you describe yourself as a player, both with and without the puck?
Yeah, I think I'm a two-way player. I can make offense, but I like to get in the defensive zone. I like to play body and disrupt their team.
What are some of the things that you'd like to work on this summer heading into Pat's main camp?
Yeah, my offensive side of the game, just being in the right positions without the puck and with the puck.
What other things can you take away from camp here?
Yeah, I think just the knowledge. I think just gathering all the information that I can from all these coaches and stuff, and all the players that just know so much.
And what is it like being in Regina? Have you been here before?
No, first time in Regina. It's really nice. I thought it was a lot smaller than it was, so it's great, yeah.
Would you be able to describe, I know a lot of people came out so far to watch the team play and watch some of the prospects play, but what's it like being on the ice with so many young, highly skilled players?
Yeah, it's great. I've never really gotten the opportunity to be with like Schultz and Pugh and guys like that, so it's really great. They're all good guys, yeah.
So has your mentality been to kind of just trying to shut them down on the ice? Like, what do you do when those guys are coming at you?
Yeah, I mean, you don't think too much about it when during like the time, but I think you kind of just try to do your best, keep up with them.
Can all this talent bring your level of game up?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what the best part about it is just playing with such high level players. You get to that level where you're playing at the level that they are. I think that's really what it is.
Joining Pat's prospect, Cruz Nicolay, here at Pat's 2025 Spring Development Camp. Cruz, you've been in Regina for 2 days now. How would you describe the organization and meeting, I guess, a whole bunch of new faces?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. There's a lot of good players here, lots of competition. Regina's actually really nice, so yeah, it's been a great time.
Thoughts on just the players that you've had the opportunity to meet and the guys that you've had the opportunity to compete with and against so far in some of the battle drills, practices, scrimmages?
Yeah, everyone's really competitive here. It's lots of fun, really hard. I just love to compete, so it's really nice.
How about for yourself? How would you describe yourself as a player? Somebody who had a ton of success this past season, were drafted in the second round by the Regina Pats. Just maybe describe yourself as a player and maybe the success that you had this year.
I feel like I'm pretty offensive defenseman. I feel like I also defend pretty hard too. Maybe a little more offensive. I could probably get there, but yeah.
Were you somebody that kind of ran the power play? Have you been a power play guy before?
Yeah, I was on the power play this year, so really fun.
So how about some of the things that you're looking to prove going into tonight's skate and I guess the continuation of the development camp and your development this summer?
Maybe just being more consistent on and off the ice and probably competing a little bit more.
What's your first experience like Regina?
It's awesome. Really nice here. Great coaches, great organization. It's great.
I think we asked Charlie Leonard about this, but being on the ice with a former NHL defenseman in Keith Ollie and just having his experience out there, what are some of the things that you maybe took away from him?
Just the knowledge that he has, it's insane. Yeah, just the feedback he has for us is really good.
And just some of the other coaches as well. It seems like Brad's been pretty consistent with his message. How much of a learning experience has that been for you, given his experience that he's had in the WHL?
Yeah, it's great. Lots of good feedback again. Every single coach here is really good, so I can trust them that they're going to make me better.
Thanks for listening to all those interviews. And yeah, I think that's all from us. See you at the rink in the fall, and we'll see you out and about in the summer here.
Have a good summer and see you in the fall.